Jason. Well, hey, how you doing? Hey, did you talk to GSC?
Many people would have said that Jason Robeson was a person who had everything. A professional career that had made him wealthy, a loving wife, and a devoted daughter. He seemed the last person one might expect to ever need a miracle.
What are you guys, my subconscious?
Today, he was in a particularly good mood. His wife had called to tell him there was a letter from their daughter, who was away at school.
Oh, and after you finish reading that, I think we should talk.
What, bad news?
I think our little girl's in love.
Well, she sounds excited.
And they want to get married.
What? We haven't even met him yet.
Oh, we've had so many chances. And besides that, I agree with her judgment, honey.
Well, I'll tell you what. I have some business in the Capitol. Let's fly down there tomorrow.
Could we?
Yeah. Tell you what, we won't tell her we're coming. We'll make it a surprise and take a holiday. Just the three of us.
Or maybe the four of us.
Yeah, the four of us.
Jason and Alicia had flown up to visit several times, but usually stayed in one of the city's more expensive hotels. On such short notice, rooms at this older establishment were the only ones in town. Of course, there was no way for them to know that this hotel would become the location for a series of events that would change forever the lives of Jason and Alicia Robeson, and would have a profound effect on their daughter as well.
May I take your luggage?
Oh, please.
Thank you very much.
Right this way.
Well, we're going to be here a couple of days, and we're probably going to run you ragged.
Thank you, sir. My name is Steve.
Thank you, Steve. I don't know about you, but after that flight, I'm exhausted.
And I could use a little rest myself. I tell you what, let's not call her until tomorrow. That way we can get some rest. When she comes over, we'll have a better day together.
That's a great idea.
Order anything you like, my lady, because I am rich. A very nice couple just checked in and made my week.
Wow, that's great. But I think I'll just have some coffee, thanks.
Nothing, thanks. No coffee for me. I'm gonna try to get some sleep. I haven't been getting much lately.
Unfortunately, that's not my fault.
No, actually, it's the fault of a stupid dream I've been having. It's been waking me up every night for the past week and a half.
Dream?
It's no big deal. It's just that it seems so real, I wake up feeling like I'm still at work. By the time I get to sleep, it's time to get up.
Well, I guess you better tell me about it.
Well, each time it's the same thing. I'm pushing a room service cart like I always do. I go down the hall, and I get to the room. I knock on the door and I go inside. The place is empty. I start worrying, thinking that I've gone to the wrong room. So I look at the cart. But the only thing on it is an oxygen bottle with a mask attached to it.
You've been losing sleep over an oxygen bottle?
Crazy, isn't it?
Well, I think you've been working too much, honey.
I know.
The next day, Steve reported for work, early in the day and on time as always. Steve had done his best to get a good 8 hours sleep the night before, but he'd been awakened twice after having the same dream as before.
It's a dream I keep having.
A dream?
Woke me twice.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I don't think I want to hear about it. Your first trip is in the coffee shop. Now go before it gets cold.
This routine task, which Steve had performed 1,000 times before, seemed to take on a special significance after he'd seen it in his mysterious dream. But Steve decided that his imagination was running away with him, and he resolved to think no more about it. But as Steve waited for the elevator to come down for him, he glanced at a crew locker he'd seen in this service lobby as long as he'd worked at the hotel. But today, one particular locker seemed to be beckoning to him. calling out for him to open its door. The seconds ticked by, and the compulsion to open the locker grew stronger. After a moment, Steve felt he literally could not stop himself. There, exactly as in Steve's dream, was the bottle of medical oxygen. By now, Steve was conscious of acting out his dream. He placed the bottle on the bottom rack, just where he had seen the bottle to be when he'd dreamed of it so many times before. Now, the only question that remained was, where was he supposed to be taking it? Unable to know where the oxygen was supposed to end up, he followed the directions on his room service order.
Come on, Jason. She'll be down the lobby by now.
Jason! Jason!
Jason, can you hear me? Oh my God, he's not breathing.
What happened?
I don't know. My husband, he's just collapsed on the floor. He's not breathing. A minute, he was talking. We're getting ready to go. Where are you going? He needs a doctor. You've got to call a doctor. Is it going to be all right? Oh my God.
It'll be fine. You need to get an ambulance for him. Hold that. Yeah, this is Steve. Call an ambulance for the guest in room 1104. Tell them he stopped breathing for a few moments, but he's okay now. I have him on oxygen. It's a long story.
Once the immediate danger was past, he began to realize that if he had not responded to the images he had seen in his dream, the man who had been so nice to him before would surely be dead.
Just out of curiosity, do you always carry an oxygen bottle with you when you deliver room service?
Not ordinarily, but...
I take it you two know each other?
Well, yes, ma'am. When he's not working here, Steve is my boss in the emergency room.
I'm a third-year medical student, and I'm just working here until I finish my degree.
Well, as of today, you're my favorite doctor.
I'll see you at work.
Excuse me. What are you doing here?
I'm supposed to meet my parents here. They flew in yesterday to surprise me. What's with the ambulance? Melanie? Mom? Dad? Are you okay? What's happened?
I'm fine, Ellen. This young man just provided the greatest room service we've ever had.
I'm so glad you're feeling okay. And it's so great that you guys are here, but why did you fly in? It's such a surprise.
Your mother and I thought we should fly down and meet the young man you wrote to us about. That's all.
Well, you met him. What do you think?
Well, we didn't meet anybody yet except...
You mean this is...
Steve, I'd like you to meet my mom and dad. Mom, Dad, say hello to your future son-in-law.
I told you she had good judgment.
Steve, how can I repay you?
Well, I can think of one way.
All right.
Jason repaid the favor a month later by leading his daughter down the aisle to be married. Bound together by the strange connections of a life-saving dream, this happy family of four became firm believers in miracles.
There is no explanation. My husband was very ill. A doctor showed up exactly when and where we needed him. Undoubtedly, he saved my husband's life. Some people call it a coincidence. I call it a miracle.